Hey everybody, I am Dr. Diane Hayden, and I am the publisher of Natural Nutmeg Magazine and Essential Naples Magazine. And I'm excited to have with me today Kerry Martin. She is a registered nurse and a coach, and she has a website. It's Wise Concierge Wellness. That's www.wiseconciergewellness.com. And we're going to be talking today a little bit about what Kerry does and her philosophies and kind of her journey and everything, how she got started in the business that she's in now. So, welcome, Kerry. How are you today?
Thanks, Diane. I'm good.
Good,
I'm
good, good.
doing well.
So, we met, geez, like not maybe a month and a half ago or 2 months ago or so, pretty recently.
Yeah.
And I was very fascinated with your story and everything that you do and kind of how you got started with the practice that you have. And we'll talk about like what you do in your practice and all that. But basically, tell us a little bit just about your background, your bio, and kind of your journey that took you to where you are today.
Okay. Well, I'm Kerry Martin, and I'm a registered nurse. I'm a certified health coach. And honestly, my path into this work wasn't a straight line. Um, I grew up in a home affected by addiction. And as a young adult, I struggled with addiction myself. So there was a period in my life where I really lost my way, so to speak. My marriage ended. I became estranged from my daughter, and I was actually incarcerated for a time. Um, and honestly, that experience became a turning point for me. I, when I was incarcerated, I began reading and meditating, and I learned some things that I was never taught. Um, I really started to look at my life honestly for the first time
Hmm.
and see that I was a big part of my problems. So I realized if I wanted a different life, I had to change and I had to learn a different way of living. So after I was released, I rebuilt my life. It was one step at a time. It was also not always a straight line, but I did rebuild it. I became a nurse and I later became a health coach. And I've been sober for over 15 years. I have a great relationship with my daughter. I have a great partner. I have a great life. But when I was in nursing, like traditional nursing in the hospital, I noticed this. I noticed something interesting. A lot of people were doing all the right things medically, but they were still feeling exhausted, anxious, overwhelmed, disconnected, and or just simply off. And I started thinking about that a lot because I felt the same way in a lot of ways all my life. And I wanted to understand more about that. So I really started thinking about the connection between stress and the nervous system in our environment and our relationships. And the curiosity led me into a more holistic approach and using nervous system regulation. And for me, I'm doing some somatic work and some nature-based healing practices. And another thing that I've been doing and that I use, one of my modalities is human design.
Hmm.
And it's really about human design. It's a chart of you and it shows you how your energy works in the world. So I use that for nervous system regulation because I found myself that I feel better knowing my energy type and how I strategize and all the things. It calms my nervous system to know that, hey, I'm not like everyone else. This is how I operate and it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. You have such a great story. I mean, talk about like, I mean, not everybody has that level of, or comes to that level of self-awareness and then also responsibility, right? And you turned your entire life around. It's amazing. And
I did. I
yeah,
mean,
and
I did.
more people need to hear that because I think like sometimes people lose hope that, this is never, I'm never going to fix this or whatever. So, and at the same time, now you have sort of gone deeper into, understanding yourself. And I love human design. I've worked with it myself and I've worked with other practitioners too. It's great. And I think that, it's a way for people to understand that, yeah, they're not like everybody and they don't have to be like everybody. And one practitioner, told me, which stuck in my head still, that when she finally, figured out her human design and her husband's human design, they stopped fighting. Like they stopped having arguments. They finally like understood each other and it completely like turned their relationship around, which is amazing.
I That's so interesting that you bring that up. Um, I found that that is true. And
Mhm.
the other thing that's really helpful is knowing your children's human design.
For
No,
sure.
honestly, because
Yeah.
it shows you, hey, this is why they operate this way, and now I understand it. And again, same thing as you saying their relationship, they stopped fighting. There's less fighting with your kids or less misunderstandings and
Right.
better
Yeah.
communication when you know these things. So you can take that into the whole dynamic. I mean, frankly, I have done just for my own family, I've done everyone's human design chart just so I can look at them in that with that lens. And things really do make more sense when you do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And what a better, I mean, what a great way to learn how to communicate better, right? Like
Yeah,
instead of
because
having the
you're
same
coming from
fight
this
over,
lens of, oh,
now
this
I
is
get it.
how they operate. This isn't about me, or this isn't about uh, us even.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
it's their way of working in the world. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Exactly, exactly.
Definitely.
So you mentioned something called nervous system regulation, which I wanted to chat about just a little bit because I think that it's like a novel term for people. Like most people may have not necessarily heard that and know that it's becoming more of a science and understanding it and working with it and all that kind of thing. I think um, it's good to just talk about that a little bit in the sense of what does that mean and maybe how you work with people.
Sure. So our nervous system, you know, it works with the brain and it goes throughout the body, and it's a really important tool for the body to use when in some kind of threat situation, or even just a little thing where, let's say, someone's making fun of you when you're a kid.
Mhm.
So sometimes that system it gets dysregulated by these different things that happen. It could be like the littlest thing or a big traumatic thing. So when that happens, your nervous system gets stuck in what's called the sympathetic, and that means that you're kind of on high alert. I don't want to get too much into detail, but you can be too high on alert, or you could get stuck low. So you're like lethargic and you don't have a lot of energy to do things. Either of those can be problematic. And of course, we love the nervous system. We have it for a reason. It's there to keep us safe, okay? But the
Right.
body sometimes gets stuck in that.
Mhm.
And we as humans, we're not like animals out in the wild who kind of can shake it off and go on with their day. Some of it gets stuck in our system. So that is what the dysregulation is. And there are many different approaches to helping with that, from breath work and mindfulness, which is what I started with in my practice. And now I'm kind of I still use that, but
Okay.
I'm also using a lot of somatics. So something called somatic experiencing is what I'm learning. I am not a full-fledged practitioner yet, but it is mind-blowing the things that can be done with it. And there's one other modality I wanted to talk about that I want to bring into my practice, and I will be doing it soon, and that is sound. There's something called the Safe and Sound Protocol,
Ooh.
and it's really it's changing people's lives because what it does is automatically can put your system back to in the middle instead of high or low. So that's something very interesting. Up to now, I've been doing a lot of mindfulness, meditation, human design, and basically teaching people how to stop, stay grounded. And this is the biggest thing that I do. I teach people to listen to themselves, to listen to their however you want to call your inner voice, and not disregard it because a lot of us have been taught by society or family or whoever that we should just be doing this, this, and that, and we shouldn't be listening to ourselves. And we really have to stop just forging ahead and not thinking about ourselves and our bodies. So that is primarily what I teach.
I love that. Um, so who is your ideal client? Like typically, who is somebody that would come to see you if you want to describe a little bit like what might they be
Sure.
struggling with or
Yeah.
who you typically work with?
Um, my ideal client, people who are overwhelmed, burned out, anxious, they're having symptoms like sometimes chronic pain or some a lot of belly issues, inflammation. Um, they're highly sensitive people. There's a lot of highly sensitive people and people that are feeling disconnected from themselves. So there's a there's quite a few different things, but if you're having symptoms, I just had a woman come to me because she hasn't slept well in years.
Yeah.
I'm talking from adolescence,
Wow.
and it's tough. She
Yeah.
sleeps sometimes, she doesn't sleep other times, and we're just starting a few new protocols using nature and using somatic techniques to get her back to center and get her sleeping more because as we all know we've got to sleep at night,
Mhm.
so that's one of the things I can help with.
Yeah. I wish I'd found you 3 years ago. Because every people know like my story basically over the last 3 years or so. I've dealt with just like heart palpitations and like I was under a level of stress I think that I didn't even realize. Talk about like listening to your body, or in my case not.
Right, right.
But yeah, like, and it took me almost like 2 years to really figure out why it was happening and how to, now I've reduced it to I almost never have an issue at all. But it took a long time, like of trying, trying different things. I tried things with diet. I tried things with, different stress reduction. I got a coach. I did all the
Yeah.
cardiovascular tests and things like that, obviously, first to make sure there wasn't
Sure.
something structurally going on or whatever. But, it's great when they tell you, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. And you're like, okay, yeah, well, why am I having tachycardia or like, my heart's skipping a beat or it feels like that, like every couple minutes or whatever. Like, great, there's nothing wrong, but there is because,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
how do I fix that? Because it's unsettling.
Oh, it's very unsettling and it's hard to hear. It's great to hear, like you said, that everything's
That you're
fine.
fine.
But
Yeah.
you're like, well, then what's going on? And I do want to say it's important to get checked out medically for
Right.
any of that stuff. You have to do that before looking at some other paths.
Yeah. Yeah.
How I
Of
feel about
course.
it.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah. So I think I love what you're doing. I think it's so needed. I love the fact that you're a nurse as well, because I think for some people, it's whether this is, real or not. I think for some people to have a nurse that's now also incorporating these other things is more comforting, maybe. And they feel like maybe you understand the body a little bit better and, can, you know, look at things a little bit differently and whatnot, and bringing all these other modalities in at the same time, which is so great.
I I am so happy you said that because I'm I'm so happy I'm a nurse and that I see how important these other modalities are, and I want to bring them to people just like they go to the doctor. They can go to try different things to help. I mean, it's not just one way, there's not just one way of doing things anymore. You have so many options to help you.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you?
People can go on my website, wiseconciergewellness.com, and there's some information about what I do, and there are ways to book sessions with me, or you can get in contact with me. And I also am on Instagram at Kerry Lynn Life. So those are probably the two best ways to get in touch with me.
Okay, that's awesome. And do you practice virtually too?
I do,
Okay.
although I want to say, Diane, I have I have a new office in Woodbury and it is spectacular. It's very grounding. I have made it so intentionally safe and grounding in here. We've got earth elements, water elements, fire elements, and air. And it's it's great to come here and just talk in person. But yes, of course, I do virtual sessions as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's something to be said for being in person. I think more people are looking for that now too. And I think people should definitely check out that office of yours because I want to come see it.
Yeah, I want you to come see it.
Yeah, definitely,
Seriously,
definitely.
got
Well,
to come to
awesome.
Woodbury.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, listen, people drive all over the place for modalities and things like that. So I don't doubt it. Connecticut's not that big a state.
No, it's not, right?
Well, this has been so awesome. Thank you for telling us about your story and everything about what you do. And people can reach out to you, as you said, at your website, which is www.wiseconciergewellness.com, and your Instagram page. And you just wrote a phenomenal article for us in the Natural Nutmeg magazine that just came out with our May issue. For people who are watching this video after that, it's the May 2026 issue on autoimmune disease,
Yeah.
and you have the beautiful back cover design, which is all great. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Diane. This was great.
Awesome, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We're excited that you listened to this recording, and we will see you back again next time.